I need to stop being mean to you. So
yeah, I went away. That's why it was really unfortunate that the week I went away was the week that there was a double fucking bill.
did you go away somewhere nice?
I saw Cole's mum and dad.
Oh,
Okay.
did they
Because
live in?
I was actually meant to go
Afghanistan, or-
somewhere else, but she had a jaw surgery. So
Oh,
we basically I suggested we go to see mum and dad. I was meant to see him for like the weekend before we was going away, and then it was like, you ain't going away. She's in too much pain for it. So
You ain't getting it.
so yeah.
so
And
just drugs and bed resting, yeah.
What type of film Emmanuel picked, and she's like, oh, I don't want to watch that. So that's why I had to wait until I got home. So I watched all 3 films in one day.
Oh, okay.
I watched, and get this, I watched Mr. Vengeance and Mrs. Vengeance.
Mr. and Mrs. Vengeance.
I watched them
An Unhappy Marriage.
like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
Yeah. I woke up and I was like, I might as well watch
Perfect time for like brutal violence and horrible mutilation.
that was the thing. Humphrey shaved that morning, and then he put on sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, and he looked exactly the same again.
Emmanuel really didn't like that.
Yeah, Emmanuel's the elect of this week.
Cool.
You know what the really
Fuck.
and the funny thing was, I
Wait.
didn't think it was actually that bad.
Oh, what? Really?
Oh, bloody hell.
Mr. Vengeance.
No,
be
I think
honest,
we were talking
I
about
thought
something else.
Old Boy was worse.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
Mr.
I-
Vengeance fucking sucked.
No, I mean like the subject matter. Like it was. I was like so cringing in Old Boy, but that one was like, okay, this is understandable for this type of film. It's like a Greek tragedy.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Well, Emmanuel, he liked.
Fucking hell,
American Werewolf
Emmanuel.
in London.
Holy shit.
Yeah, Emmanuel
Sorry.
hated this more than bloody. What was the last film he hated?
I know they
Rocky Horror
played
Picture
Blue
Show.
Moon twice, but you gotta chill out, man.
No, thrice.
3
Oh,
times.
Thrice.
No, the music I had no problem with. The music
Oh,
was
okay.
I
actually the
did.
only part I probably liked. Can someone help me do the average? Because I can't
Yeah, I'll do
do
it.
it.
I'll do it for you.
That's right, I'm doing
Yeah.
it.
Keep
Oh,
crashing for me.
It's gonna be between a 2.5 and a 3, I think. from
What? Why were you angry at me doing something for you?
Oh, wow.
I said
Yeah,
I'll
guess-
do it. You said I'll do it, and then I said that's right, I'm doing it right now. And you went, oh fuck.
I was just on it, so I thought it'd be easier. But
No.
take control of everything this week.
Yeah, I will.
That's what she said.
Okay, now it wasn't long. Said he wasn't going to do it anymore. Like gone.
What?
But you removed all his columns, didn't you?
What, John?
Yeah.
He told me to.
Yeah, Alec had
Surprised
that.
it was so quick.
Alec had the shortcut memorized.
Yeah. I just hit a button and all of his columns just got deleted. I was like, eh.
Sad.
That's so good. That means the whole team's here.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It has been a while. And it's my birthday tomorrow.
Oh.
Indeed.
Alec turns 5.
Cool. Yeah, I did have this kind of beard when I was 4. That's why I'm so grumpy. Right. Oh, we're recording. Okay.
Rob, you all right? You seem. I mean, I know you had to cough, right? But are you actually okay? Your
We've-
face is just like,
We know you've had a cough, but what's with the mile-long stare?
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm alright. I'm just feeling shit.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's a
Fair
full
enough.
moon tonight.
It sounds like Rob's trying to be Batman.
But I do have this week's sponsor with me.
Hey.
Oh no, no. Blue moon.
Hmm. Sorry.
You
I
can
even-
when you sing, it might influence my scores.
I even told my dad about that. I went, they played Blue Moon in the opening, and he went, and I went, that's a song for Man City, and he went, oh, for fuck's sake.
It's weird. I'd like in the zero knowledge until you guys told me that.
Hatred runs deep.
But what the song is pretty damn old. It must have been written in the 50s or something. When did they adopt it?
I think it was actually written in like the 30s, but there's loads of different versions of it.
I think Elvis did a version.
Quite possibly, yeah.
Yeah,
That gives a link to Lilo and Stitch very tenuously. Thank you,
Right.
Simon.
No, I was just gonna say no. They Elvis's manager didn't let them use this version. Elvis's version of this of Blue Moon. So they had to use the other version of Blue Moon for
They used-
this movie.
Yeah, that makes sense because every song in this film has the word moon in it in some way, and obviously there's 3 versions of Blue Moon in it.
It's really subtle.
Yeah, yeah, it's very moon. So it's like it's one of those things. It's like so on the nose, but
There's loads of little things like that.
Yeah.
They just arrived to John Landis and they were like, we've got all these songs with Wolf in the title, but we've also got all these songs with Moon in the title. And he went,
Moon.
let's go Moon.
Yeah, let's go Moon. Yeah,
Fuck all the Wolf ones, they're shit.
there's probably more Moon ones to use as well. So.
I saw another cool little fact earlier. So the house that he first transforms in is on a road called Lupus Street, and lupus is the Latin word for wolf.
Yeah, that's nice.
And Lupin, yeah, the plant too. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
All right, since we're
Harry
starting.
Go on.
What was that, Emmanuel?
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
I would guess he means like Professor
Professor
Lupin
Lupin.
from Harry
Yeah.
Potter, who is a werewolf.
Yeah.
That went right over
Coincidentally
my head.
becomes one.
Gladly.
That shows
Oh
you how
my
much
God,
we give a
you're
shit
right.
about-
Who would have
So,
thought?
Ben,
Destined. Yes.
why did you choose this film?
Thank you. I was waiting for the structure to begin.
to annoy Pat the most.
Oh.
To be fair, no, it's one of my old favorites from growing up. It was like it's a weird like horror comedy hybrid kind of thing. It's a strange film in terms of like it's a homage, but it's also kind of like pastiche as well. But it's always stuck in my mind as being one of like the most definitive werewolf stories ever made, and I've always had huge enjoyment from it and like fond memories from it too. And I feel like it has a lot of nuance in terms of like how well they do the visual effects and how well it's holds up to this day still, and it's kind of like opened the floodgates of all the slightly more modern horror movie remakes to follow, for better or worse, of course. But this is one of the few films that had its own identity and its own kind of, like reason to exist for being kind of it's a John Landis film in terms of like only he could have made it, but how he made it was quite pivotal of why I love the film so much. Just because it's kind of like a kind of like callback to the old Hammer horror movies, as well as it being kind of like a really brutal and violent movie, but also really very, very, very tongue-in-cheek with a lot of black humor and very it's just a strange mix, but it just works for me. And it probably won't work for everyone, but it lands. And just because it's kind of like I understand what they were going for and how they put it together in what they had, and I feel that everyone in this film kind of gives it 101%. So it fires on all cylinders in that regard, even if some things are deliberately kind of weird and strange. It knows it is, in my opinion.
I was definitely feeling like this was the guy who did Blues Brothers, because there was a definite sense of humor to this. And just like little just shots where characters were going like, did you hear that? No, I didn't hear anything. And then Wah! Yeah, this is funny. There's a wolf head and a stick. Yeah, this is you gotta have a sense of humor doing this.
I mean, it's such a. This movie was actually so impactful, as Ben was saying. You know, it's such this. Oh, this is not like the first werewolf movie by any case, right?
No.
But like the impact for this movie is like definitely the highest because, like, admittedly speaking, even that's why I scored it with such a 10 for impact, especially like the music, especially because you know it inspired Michael Jackson and it was a real thriller.
Oh, fuck's sake. These are getting tenuous.
Yes. Okay.
I appreciate
that was
it.
that was a bit of a stretch, but I got it. I got it there eventually. But yeah, no. In all seriousness, though, this movie is quite good because, like, I feel like this is like your progenitor to like your Sam Raimi's and your other sort of like horror comedy movies, and this is probably this is what started it off. You know, for being kind of gruesome to look at as well because of all the makeup and everything. But then afterwards has a bit of a comedy as well. And it's like, all right, it mixes it so good together. That's why it's got that's why it's where it is.
And that's probably why like it's so kind of like, but either people don't like it or it's so beloved, like for me, because it's like it's one of those films that kind of like it knows when to be serious and it knows when to be funny. And it doesn't like contradict each other. Each moment kind of like has impact for me. And I feel like when the jokes land, they really work. And then when it goes gruesome and dark, it's like, whoa, that was really horrible. So I feel that it draws, it kind of like peters on the tightrope, if you could say.
I think the Sam Raimi comparison is really good as well because like it's sort of striking a balance where you go, this is like a low budget thing, but you use the budget where it counted, and you're like, there were one too many shots where we relied on, what's that in the distance? Ah, it's coming toward us. And then close up on Wolf. And you're like, yeah, all right. But then you actually come into like the Wolf and he just looks like a big furry tank. And you're like, fucking hell, that actually looks really good. And you're like, or like you cut back and he's in like a dream sequence thing and he's doing like, and he's got the makeup and he's going like, Row! And he's got like the teeth and the eyes and the thing. And you're like, oh wow, considering how low budget this looks so far, that was a really good fucking effect. And I actually like stopped the film and reversed it for a bit and just went like, damn, that was really cool. That was a nice little.
I think it's
the previous one where he's like running through and you get like the Evil Dead thing and he's looking through he's running through the woods and there's like a deer and then he's like, I'm gonna jump on the deer, and then there's like a shot and he like it's a naked guy jumping on a deer and you go and you're like, and then you just don't expect the next one to go, oh fuck, the makeup was actually really good on that bit. Like that was really nice. Sorry, Ben.
No, that's a good point. I just like how you mentioned that because it's kind of like I feel that every shot in the film kind of like lasts just long enough for it to work. Because if it was like a few seconds longer, you might be like, no, it's more of the seams and more of like the budget and more like, oh, that actually looks a bit fake. But it's just this shots just last just quite short enough for you to be like, well, okay, that's effective. And I think they just knew how to edit things in terms of like to have it the most impact for what they had. So,
absolutely. Do we all want to do opening statements?
Yes.
Humphrey, why don't you go first since you're shaking your head and you haven't been here in 3 weeks?
Yeah.
2 weeks or whatever.
The resident Wolfman should speak.
Yeah, I thought it was quite good. Yeah.
Cool.
So because I knew about the makeup effects because it's kind of like a legendary thing in like the makeup effects industry. It's like it's one of the pinnacles of that industry, and I knew I kind of seen like the makeup, but I'd never seen the film. And then like the bloke with the like he's got these cut, he's got like the claw mark on his face.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there all the time he was talking. You can see like the hole in his neck, and he's like got the bits dangling, and I'm just like, wow, that's
Just
really
a bit of flesh, just like
yeah. And it's like how they did all that, and because what's his name? I was thinking of his name, and then I completely forgot it. The bloke who did all the makeup effects, he's like
Rick Baker.
Rick Baker, that's it. And he's like a legendary makeup like effect artist. But yeah, I thought it's the bit that got me,
Might be a
and
different
it's my favorite scene, and I'll get to it in the end. But yeah, I was just sitting there thinking, what the fuck? Like this kind of situation the bloke's in, and he's talking to these people, and it's just so fucking gonzo, yeah. But yeah, I thought it was really good. It did what it had to do. They did it quite well, even though it's in like early 80s Britain, which is really shit.
The best time in history for Britain.
I do love the fact that when the nurse says about, oh, the prices have gone up, I'm like, fuck, it's so topical.
Yeah.
This 1981 film is so topical.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's it, pretty much.
You're right. I'll just do mine. I was really, I like this one. And I thought it was really cool just being able to kind of go like, oh, that's the werewolf transformation effect they do in Being Human. And like, I didn't need to look it up. I just knew it. I was just like, yeah, that's still being used. Like, because I think I was still in like secondary school or something when Being Human came out. But like, they do the same werewolf effect, and I just thought that was really neat. Rob, you remember Being Human?
Yeah, I love Being Human.
The one with it was the ghost. Was it the ghost vampire and the werewolf?
Yeah.
They
If you
lived
look
in
at
a
Being
flat.
Human, sort of like close to watching an American Werewolf in London, there's quite a lot of callbacks to it. It's obviously quite heavily influenced by that. But then I suppose it would be, because if you think of like werewolf films, this is probably the biggest one, right?
I mean, there were other werewolf films during that time, like what was it called? The Howling, I think is what I read about.
Yeah.
But like no one remembers The Howling. Everyone just remembers this one.
Well, The Howling and Teen Wolf were kind of like off the back of this, weren't they?
Yeah,
sort of like a modern take on werewolves, but
they came after, because before then it was the 1950s one.
I like Ebony showed me Penny Dreadful, which is like the reimagined versions of like that sort of era of, so like Frankenstein's monster shows up, Dracula shows up, and then like
it was sort of 1800s the creatures and characters from literary fiction.
Yeah, like Dorian Gray is there, and I was like, "Fucking hell, he's amazing. He's just the most handsomest man ever." And then one of the characters, like, Eb's going like, "Do you get it? Do you get it?" And I was like, "Do I get what? What was happening?" She's like, "He's the American Werewolf in London." And I was like, "What? What the fuck's that?" And she was just like, "You never seen American Werewolf in London?" And I was like, "Nothing. I've seen literally everything else. I'm totally cool with. I am not from. I've never seen American Werewolf." And yeah, I just never came across it. But like one of the characters is American Werewolf. Spoiler alert. But yeah, I just never had an exposure to it. It's one that Graham keeps recommending to me because it's one of those big 80s classics. But yeah, I was quite impressed. Really like this one.
Yeah. I think a lot of why I like it is like it's tonally very similar to Evil Dead, isn't it? Because it's kind of you kind of got two sides of it where it's going like, oh, this really scary thing's happening, but isn't it silly? And I really enjoy that. Do you know the two lead characters were, well, Universal wanted John Landis to get Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi in.
Oh, I love that.
Really?
As the two leads.
I think the only way that it wouldn't have worked is age. I think everything else would have been perfect.
Well, I'm glad Dan Aykroyd wasn't brought on.
What's your problem with Dan Aykroyd?
I'm
He's
just
a Man City supporter, isn't he?
He's probably never even heard of football. To be fair. I think he lives in such a bubble that
The old hack.
I like him like a very much a handful of things. Most of the other stuff he's been in is shit though.
Well, that's most actors, isn't it?
Some, yeah.
No, but I think
Oh,
that's, I don't know, that's kind of the tone of it, isn't it? It's kind of like Saturday Night Live does a horror film.
I'd have really liked to see like the Blues Brothers just be the main characters in this.
It's kind of like how it's written as well. It's kind of got the same sort of banter of like two friends just going for on a holiday and just chilling and just like talking to each other about any old random shit, and they just happen to fall into some random shit and get themselves all in this film. Basically, it's so naturally, it all comes about so naturally, but still, it still manages to be faithful to the original Wolfman legacy story. Yeah, it has that modern twist of just being kind of like just so casual, which is why I really liked it.
I really liked seeing London in the 80s as well. Like that scene where they're in Tottenham Court Road and then
Oh yeah.
they kind of like pursue that guy sort of up to the elevator and then it goes to London Zoo. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
Like just on kind of like a local level.
It still has that fucking green tiling because I was looking at it yesterday. I was like, yeah, this doesn't change. Like, oh, this is so old and shit.
Yeah, that's the thing, because like when you first see the platform, I was like, that's Tottenham Court Road. And then I saw the sign and I was like, it's Tottenham Court Road.
It's just old. That's the same.
And Piccadilly Circus with all its traffic and all those poor theatres. Well, okay, that's changed immediately, but like it's still a chaotic place, that Piccadilly Circus area.
Yeah, no, I really love it. I think most of what it's trying to do, it just does perfectly. And yeah, do you know it's the first film that won an Oscar for best makeup as well?
Oh, cool. Yeah, I can imagine why. I can see why.
It was in the 80s that it had done, because like you just thought that would happen before this film, but this was a standout in terms of how they did the effects, in terms of makeup and animatronics and stop motion.
Yeah,
dude, it's mad.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of bits where like it looks a bit silly, like when they're in the cinema and he's kind of like sat there as it reminds me of a toy that I used to have of the mask where like his eyes sort of popped out. Other than that, it looked really good.
It's still so well done, but yeah, you know he's an animatronic at that point, but it's still so good.
I do think there's some parts like when they do like the actual werewolves, like they do like the funny little things, and you go, all right. But then when the werewolf's actually running around London, you're like, fuck me, that's great. Like he doesn't even like necessarily even look like a wolf. He just looks like this massive hair, and he's just going like, and I was just like, oh, that is a werewolf, isn't it? Oh my god,
Humphrey.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all generally liked it. So I guess the point is now, Emmanuel, why did you not like it?
Yeah, why didn't it work?
What's your fucking problem? Not enough mutilations or genitals or what?
Yeah, the shoes weren't robust enough.
Yep, that's it.
If he had better shoes, he wouldn't have got hit by a fucking werewolf.
Neither me or Camilla liked it, enjoyed it. I did raise my scores of production to 8, though.
Drastic.
Wow.
There was a lot of the script and story just wasn't a fan of, basically. But I thought it was quite bad, but not. It was on this weird middle place, and I think we've talked about this in like other films where at one point I was expecting to be like quite serious because it starts out, quite serious for a long while, to be honest. Most of it seems to be taking itself quite seriously. But then there's parts where you can imagine if it was more of a obvious type of comedy, but not too obvious like Fawlty Towers or something, but taking that dark humor, but kind of, really making it more kind of, we're not taking ourselves seriously, but it didn't have that balance for me. So it just felt like it was taking itself more seriously, but didn't really know how to do it while also trying to make fun of itself. And then I didn't like the story or script. I was just like, well, music's good.
I think the reason why that you didn't like the comedy is because they were told to turn down the gruesomeness of the comedy. From what I remember, the scene where you see Jack is his name, right? His friend that gets killed,
Yeah,
right?
his friend is Jack Griffin.
Yeah, he gets, because you see him eat his breakfast with the toast, and like he dips it in the eggs and he eats it. Supposedly there was a deleted scene, or like the scene that wasn't like shot but like framed, but they didn't actually shoot the thing where he eats the bread, but the bread, like, because he's got the rip that's on his throat, right, it just drops out of his throat, and it's supposed to be very gruesome, but they were told, yeah, let's not do that, let's tone it down a bit because that's too much, and we'll have to like make it into like age rating even higher than it is. And it's like, all right, fine, we just like cut it down a bit because of, at that time it was too gruesome and too dark a comedy at that time. It's like, that probably be why it was not as funny as it could have been, or got away with more stuff, I guess.
That's a shame.
If you have a higher rating, you get less money. So
Yeah.
But this one got quite a lot of money, right? Didn't it get like? Shit, I can't remember the box office numbers.
But I mean, at a higher rating, the risk is that it won't get as much money, basically.
That's true.
I think it was apparently rated R in America. But if it was done the way someone was suggesting, it would have been rated X, which would have been like super, like not many cinemas would have shown it.
What was your reaction just then? You just went, "Ah."
But then when I went to stream it, it said rating X.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Just well.
Where
maybe
did you stream it?
Let me go and find it.
Interesting. But yeah, if it was R, that would make more sense because anyone could watch it as long as an adult was there.
Yeah.
If it
out 15.
Yeah, if it was rated X, or I don't know when NC-17 became a rating in America, but either of those ratings, NC-17 plays, but of course you can only see if you're 17 or older. And like you said, the X, there's a lot of cinemas that won't play it, you said.
Yeah. It just doesn't have a wide release.
That makes sense. I mean, I wouldn't want my film being rated that and then being screwed over. It doesn't look like it was a small budget. I say small budget. It wasn't cheap. It's not. It's not an Ed Wood movie.
No, it wasn't as cheap as that. It was something like 5 million and up to that. Come on, put the budget.
What it lacked in budget, it made up for in heart and blind
actually,
enthusiasm.
Randomly, the budget for this film was only 10 million.
How much did it make?
And it made in worldwide 30 million. A bit. So,
That's not too bad considering that time period, right?
yeah.
Can you guys see this? No. Hold on, I'll send it in the group.
Screenshot.
Considering that had like a little bit where
There you go.
a kid had to go up to his mum and go, "A naked American man just bought my balloons." I think that made a pretty decent amount of money.
Yeah, that scene, yeah. That's interesting. It's next there.
Where was his?
What's funny about that?
Where was his what?
Where's his mom?
Oh, I thought you said where was his bum, and I was like, on his back.
Just what was funny about that age rating. So on IMDb, it's an X. On one of the 3 options on Amazon, it's a 16 plus, and on the other 2 options, which are not usable, it's 13 plus.
Okay.
So I don't think they can make up their mind what the rating was.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like different edited or cut versions, I guess.
As far as I know, there isn't a director's cut, so there should be only one, but I don't.
Ratings change over time as well, like Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
I guess that's true. If that changes,
That's very true.
That everything else can have a change of age rating, right?
Because remember, RoboCop and Terminator are both 18s, and then I think they're 15s now, aren't they?
Yeah, that's true. Even like the original Batman and Batman Returns, they used to be 15s on video.
Yeah, if I was babysitting some toddlers, I'd put Terminator on. Just because.
Is Evil Dead still an 18?
Yeah.
Because
To be
like,
fair, I think if Evil Dead got declassified, then Sam Raimi would be well within his rights to be pissed off that they made him go to court over it.
well, I think the fact that it has a tree rape in it sort of solidified its 18 status.
I think
I mean,
it'll always
if
be
you
an 18.
take that out of it, I don't think it's quite bad enough to be an 18.
Could you
I don't
imagine?
know, man. That pivotal scene.
Yeah,
Could you imagine
that's what I was gonna say.
She hasn't
Depends
been
on-
like in a world where just like, oh, your tree rape scene's a bit vanilla, actually. Just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, the social norms are fine with that now.
hold on a minute.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
But this
Anyway.
one, I don't see as being any more than a 15. But I suppose that's just me being desensitized to most horror now.
I mean, he
Oh,
won't
yeah.
even punch a policeman when he's trying to get arrested. Like, you
Oh
know.
man, what you thought the same thing as I did? It's like he could have got arrested way easier if he just.
I was-
slapped that
Yeah.
bobby.
I was like, my guy, I've been arrested by
Oh, that scene
accident.
was so
It's
good.
not. It's not this hard. Like,
Miller
come
was,
on.
yeah, he wasn't trying. He wasn't trying hard enough.
He
That's just-
didn't want to get arrested.
Yeah, but Queen Elizabeth is a man.
Oh,
When-
she
When
is.
that line was said, I thought of Rob.
Yeah.
Oh, I was sitting there weeping and cheering.
Yeah. Winston Churchill.
Full of shit.
What did he say? Was it he was a liar or something? Or he
No,
was,
no. Winston Churchill was full of shit. is what
yeah,
he
it's
said.
full of shit.
Well, we all know that.
Then after it's like, Prince,
Nah.
Prince Charles is.
Is it
I don't want to make you say that actual word, but never mind. But like the point is,
Prince Charles rides a Harley Davidson around, and he's really noisy, and he doesn't, he's one of them.
yeah. Hey, but like, imagine, could you imagine if someone was trying to recreate that scene nowadays?
Yeah,
I
then
don't know
you
if you
get
could get away with it, right?
Queen Elizabeth has different pronouns than you might expect.
Rest him. He stared at me too long.
Get out.
He looked at me with a sexual endeavour.
Oh my dear. Man. Yeah, that scene's great.
Also, sorry. I'm sure we're gonna get onto it. But what nurse just takes a patient home?
Oh yes.
Let me tell you, a really fucking great nurse. I wish there were more of them about. Honestly.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
that's every fantasy comes to life, isn't it?
I
For
was
once, me
jealous.
and Alec agree.
I was jealous of their ability to have sex in a shower. I thought, you bastards.
Yeah,
Without
he-
destroying it.
Yeah, how did
he
you do
wasn't
it?
a wolf to actually destroy it. That's the crazy thing.
There's skill. It can be done, Alec. Remember, just the right tools.
I'll try
Like to
harder.
destroy the bathroom.
Try being more like a wolf and less like the Hulk.
Wait, I'll show Humphrey the picture of the aftermath. And
Humphrey, it's not as bad as you think, Humphrey.
But
What?
what's it called? If it wasn't, if it didn't seem to be taking itself just a bit too seriously, I would have been like, oh, okay, this is just like taking the piss about stuff. But it
Oh.
felt a bit too serious, and then it's just like, this is annoying. This is just annoying.
I don't know how seriously it was taking itself, to be honest, because I think there were a lot of instances.
Yeah, wink
Where-
to the camera.
I think you were supposed to be laughing, like when they're going around the back and he's like, "Did you hear anything, darling?" "No, I didn't hear anything. Did you?" "No, I didn't." Wah! Like I
but
think that's
like,
kind of meant to be a bit funny. Like
that scene you could push up to say, all right, it was like building tension, right? But it's when the scene where it goes,
Yeah.
darling, those hooligans are outside again. I
mean,
laughed
we must
so
quite-
hard at that. So
Or like
hard.
the hobo scene when they're going like, "What's that coming toward us?" Oh, I know it's not Winston. Wow! It's like, yeah,
That's
I don't know how seriously this is supposed to be.
Just on that scene, I really love that one where where they're like, oh, the hooligans are outside, go and see what's going on.
Yeah, and he still got his glass out. Got his glass, and he drinks it, and he's like, he wanted to turn back, but he saw his wife was in the window. I was like, all right, I'll keep walking because, like, essentially, he just still will get annoyed about it. So, like, but still with his glass in his hand, walking towards. Hello.
Someone's
Uh,
phone.
To be fair, if there are hooligans in my garden, I will be taking a glass because worst case, I mean, best case, they're not doing anything and I'll just drink. But worst case, I've got a glass. That'll kill some fucker. So, like, you know, we're good. What I didn't like about that bit was that he steps in his mate's arm, his dismembered arm, and then just he kind of doesn't react, and then the camera cuts and we never see him again. I was like, oh, what are we doing?
Yeah, there's a lot of unsolved ends like that.
The whole film is kind of an unsolved end, like
Yeah. Yeah. Now I must admit, like the only bit where I was kind of going like, oh, I don't know about this was the scene in the cinema where they're like they're sort of goading him to commit suicide. I was kind of like, man, this is one that's not aged very well.
I still find that scene brilliant. It's one of my
Yeah, that scene is too funny. Like all the scenes of what was the name of the movie? I'll see you next Tuesday or see you next Thursday. Like that was playing in the background. So I was
Insane.
cracking.
Oh,
I
you
was
mean the porno? Yeah.
Yeah, I was cracking up
That was
because
great.
that scene was playing, right? And like then afterwards they're being very you need to kill yourself, but then afterwards it's the scene that's like goes, no, I wasn't talking to you, I was talking to her, but I've never seen you in my life. Oh, he walks out the
And they just
like,
carry
I
on.
love that. That was so
That was-
fucking funny.
it was so fucking stupid. And I was like, yeah, this movie is too funny. It's really funny.
Yeah.
It's great.
If you went to me, find a more British thing, I'd be like, oh, it's that though, isn't it?
That was
it's a bloke coming in and going like, oi, what are you doing?
Oh, yeah.
Who the fuck are you? I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to her, aren't I? Who the fuck are you? Oh yeah, sorry.
I mean, like, I don't know how to explain it. It feels like, it's a carry-on film, just more adult.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
That's the best
in
way
a
to
way.
explain it. Right?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was inspired by that. Do you know that was the first thing they filmed as well, was that scene?
The most important thing. Right, Emmanuel's been trying to say something for a while.
Not important, but and very random. When I saw the homeless guy, of course, it's much later than this film, but it made me think of the Fisher King, and I was just like,
Oh, yeah.
let them get it.
It was a bit like that. That's it.
No wonder you hated it. Ooh.
I think one of my favorite little details in the film was that obviously David is constantly hallucinating his dead friend Griffin, but I love the fact that even with the makeup, it's just like he's subtly degrading throughout the whole film. The first scene, he's just got like gashes, like exactly how he remembers.
I don't know if I'd say subtly degrading. He's
Well,
definitely degrading.
Yeah, degraded, you say.
Mm.
But each stage of you see him, he just looks worse and worse and worse to a point. It's like, how is he there?
And in the cinema scene, he's literally got all his teeth exposed and his eyes are.
He has no flesh, no skin left. He's just bone and just that sinew, and that's it.
I
He's
mean,
still just chilling.
I was fully expecting him to have a bag of popcorn, go enjoying yourself still. And I was like, damn, it's just. I feel like they missed a bit there just for him just to have a bag of popcorn just to eat it. But it's like, I guess it's just me. But like, it's because obviously he's decaying during that period of time. I just feel like it's interesting to see like if they went verbal with it, or like if he didn't die, or if he didn't, or if like the story continued past where the film ended, would he eventually just turn into bones and ashes, or would he just?
I was gonna
Keep
say,
going.
if you're a werewolf, you'd have to just keep like doing it every month, and then eventually you'd feel like you were Jason and the Argonauts, like
Yeah.
just surrounded by skeletons all the time.
Just disconnect.
You're just like, cool, you have a sword. Be really fun.
It's that expensive claymation, right?
Oh no,
Stop motion. It's Pat's worst enemy is stop motion.
It is funny that the first Halloween pick that you had, the choice was between this and The Fly, and yeah, they're both about people slowly degrading throughout the film.
basically the same. Like the story's basically just that.
They're
Like
both
it's
tragic.
about
Yeah.
the I just meant like the body horror kind of thing, and it's people. It's the main character reacting to body horror, and it's like, yeah, that's I kind of like these stories actually. Like they don't they're very rarely like inconsistent. Like they're just kind of they're just kind of cool, really. Like. And then sometimes shower sex happens, and you're like, "Yeah, go!" But and then I was really impressed at how they did England. I was like, for an American guy, England's depicted quite well. There are these sleepy little bits that have like a werewolf running around, and they just keep it to themselves. And they have like a little pentagram on the wall drawn wrong, and then. They're like, no, leave him to die. And I'm like, yeah, this is Britain.
I was thinking that actually, because the scene where they walk into the pub and like everyone stops talking and they all turn around, I was like, anyone who's from like a big city who's gone to a little village or a little country in England will know that feeling when they walk into a strange pub and everyone there is just sort of the people who are there every night and they don't expect somebody new to walk in. And I was like, man, for an American writer and director, he's done really well to capture that moment. And then I thought a bit more and I was like, oh, he's just watched The Wicker Man.
Oh, yeah. But that's what I was saying. It's kind of like a homage to the Hammer horror movies because there were so many moments like that where this tiny, like, quiet village has some sort of creature that they're trying to hide or like it's like happened. It's like obviously some other films like Hot Fuzz, for instance, kind of like took homage to that as well. But in this film, I think it does it so well because it's kind of like everyone's so serious and like it's that little like time capsule kind of town, like Alec mentioned. It's that they're stuck in the past and they don't want to change their ways because they don't want things to get worse or whatever. And John Landis managed to like, okay, let's just cast this movie with the most British actors you can think of, and go to the UK and film it all on location and basically just make it as authentic as possible. And I think it made all the difference than if you just did it in America.
Yeah.
No offense, Emmanuel, but like I feel like when you watch an American director doing an English person, he's going like, "Oh yes, cup of tea and a crumpet. No, we'll watch Doctor Who later, and then we'll watch the news and what?
Wait,
then we'll
wasn't
have
that
a roast
the lady?
Yeah, and just to have him go like, we're gonna go into a pub, and we're not locals, but like we're in like a bit of a rural kind of bit, and then have people go like, "Fuck are you doing?" And they tell like a racist joke. He's just like, yeah, there you go. That's kind of. And then the doctor's going to go up there, and he's going to have a bit of a. He's going to go, I shall have a small pint of Guinness then, please. And he's like, yeah, there you go. And everyone's going to be really suspicious of him, and they're not going to say a thing. And then one guy just cracks. The other guy just comes out, and he's like, no more Gladys. And you're just like, and like, you know,
running away.
It just happens, you know. You have your little sort of rural town conspiracy, and you got to go and just kind of come out, and you got to like just hit him and stuff, and you're like, stop telling the Americans things, and like, you know, that stuff. What it means to be British, just keeping things from people, and then having a Guinness.
Yeah, there's a lot of shows these days. Like Camilla will comment on it a lot as well, but there's like British things and it's just like that makes no sense. Or there are people to play British people instead of just getting a British person, and then like you didn't even bother to you went through the effort of getting someone who's not British, telling them to do a British accent, and you didn't get a vocal coach or a good enough one, and we don't know what accent is meant to be from. Like it's just not. It's not working.
Are you?
I thought it was working
About Mary
fantastically. You
Poppins for a
have the
second.
nurse saying things like,
Oh no, not this film. I mean,
Oh.
these
Oh,
days.
yeah. So you're talking Mary Poppins, aren't you? Yeah, they chose an American guy to choose a British actor.
"Wash your fucking mouth out." Mary Poppins is a fucking treasure.
Yes, she is. Dick
Yeah,
Yes,
Van
I
Dyke.
know she is.
Dick Van Dyke. Maybe.
Hey, Dick Van Dyke's a fucking national. I'll fucking have you. Stop it.
But he's a good actor and he did a good job. So
But even then, I enjoy just having. Obviously, you have the thing with inflation, and you know that's very British. But then like you have. I lost my train of thought. I just the nurse there, just like you know, she's easy. That's pretty British.
Yes.
I mean, like, he definitely like awoken his nurse fetish with her, you know, where he was very cordial. Then afterwards, she like went, "Do I have to force feed it to you?" And he went,
Yes.
"Go on then." And he
Yeah,
was
let's
like,
try this.
he definitely went, "Sure, why
The
not?"
nu-
I kind of enjoyed it.
The nurse being pretty, that's not very British at all.
it's
Like,
not.
Yeah, she had nice teeth.
If you've ever been to
her face would be 70% teeth. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But
No drinks.
oh, here's some kidney pie.
Fuck.
But I was actually going to make a genuine point, and I just fucking forgot it to just have a stab at my own country. Sorry. Take the ball off me. I'm sorry. I'll fumble it.
Well, like that hospital scene is actually, you know, all of it. If you've ever like been around the hospitals, it all made sense, especially with that very uncaring orderly, you know. Because like when he was pushing, he goes, "I don't know, I'm not a doctor." I feel like he needed to do the Star Trek thing and go, "Damn it, Jim, I'm an orderly, not a doctor." I was like, why are you so angry? What? There's no need to be so angry. It's just like she was just making conversation with you, you know, with those fucking shitty bratty kids, right? Fucking hell, those kids.
those damn kids.
Something about it is like pure British humor about a little stupid kid slapping a nurse's ass. I don't know why it just seemed to suit the sort of like British comedy at that time. It's so perfect. I don't know what it's about.
One of my favourite bits from a comedy point of view is just a bit with the answer phone. I was crying just at that bit where he's like, "Tell him I'm dead."
He's dropping the big little face, and it's like... That was a good scene.
Oh, I just remembered the bit about the English people. The thing about you know, you're trying to express sexual interest by saying, "I find you terribly attractive."
It's quite
But
sad.
you just say it over and over and over again. "I find you quite depressing, but also very sexually attractive." And I'm like, yeah, the amount of times I've said that to someone, like,
Yeah.
you know.
If funny, we all heard that sometimes.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
sad, but
I'd love to hear that just every now and then, just like, "God, you fill me with melancholy, but you are also quite attractive." And I'm like, yeah, I know.
I mean, that especially with the nurses, or with the nurse, sorry, or with Nurse Price and all that stuff. It's like, isn't that the trope called the Florence Nightingale sort of like trope that you see in a lot of like movies nowadays? And
That's
like,
a genuine thing.
but yes, it is a genuine thing, but it's like very like, look, I would like this is gonna be the next point. This movie had started lots of, well, horror movie and other sort of tropes that I never knew came from like this movie. The Florence Nightingale one is an actual thing that happens in real life, yes, but it seems to be more. It was popularized by this and I think Back to the Future. But like it's like those like there's a lot of movies that had that sort of thing to it.
Stop making Back to the Future more culturally significant than it is.
Second thing,
Whoosh.
Worse.
Put that whoosh up.
the second thing that I didn't know was from this movie. It might not be from this movie, but it's like the oldest movie that I know that had it is the double nightmare scene.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've always seen the double nightmare like sort of like trope be used in a lot of horror stuff, right? I feel like this is the oldest movie that I've seen that actually had it and has actually done very well. Where it's obviously him, he's back at his home, then the werewolf Nazi people come into his house and kill everyone.
I did want to ask this. What was the thing with that? What was going on with the fucking Nazi goblin
I guess
attack force?
I assumed it was just a John Landis thing because I was like, well, I know that's two of his films
Yeah,
that
it's
have
just-
Nazis in for seemingly no reason.
Okay.
I think it's his primal fears mixing in with the werewolf side of things as well. It's kind of like, okay, let's just make the most shocking and brutal thing he can possibly think of.
Yeah.
In
And they
short
killed
space
Kermit
of
the
time.
Frog on TV.
Yes. Also, did you notice that Kermit, the actor who plays him, was in this film?
Jim Henson?
No,
Frank Oz.
Frank Oz. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
was he?
Is the guy that kind of sees him just as the doctor he doesn't discharge him, but it's the second man. David wakes up and sees the board.
It's
like
the guy
that
from the American
lawyer
Embassy.
dude.
Yeah.
Oh right, yeah. The guy goes, I appreciate how upset you are, but you need to calm down. And it's
Yeah,
like,
that's him.
why would you say that? That's such a
He-
oh,
I don't wanna-
oh, fuck.
I don't want to blow your mind a second time, but he also plays Yoda.
Yeah.
Well, no, that I do know.
Look, it's
I
good.
just didn't know that was. I didn't know his face. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. He
yeah.
he's known for his voices and his puppetry and stuff.
But yeah,
And
but,
his representation for the green folk.
but yeah. Then afterwards, he wakes up from that nightmare scene, and it's like, oh, okay. Oh, and she's like, oh, I've got just the thing for you. Then Nazi werewolf thing comes out and stabs. No surprise. So he wakes up again. He goes, "Holy shit! What the fuck was that?" I was like, that actually genuinely made me jump for a few seconds. I was like, oh. Then I jumped because I was surprised. Then I went, oh, this is where that trope is from. That's amazing. Fucking hell! I was so excited. That's why again, up maximum impact score for this film. Fucking 10.
I don't know if this invented that though.
It's one of the earliest ones for sure, because I can't think of anything that's done before. But there probably has been done.
If it has been done, I have not like seen it, but this is definitely like the earliest or the oldest film I've known that's used that double nightmare trope, and that trope has been used so many fucking times.
Like I definitely give it the credit for the production stuff, like with the transformation and that.
Oh yes, that one. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll get to that when we get to it, because like that from what I understand, that scene took like they were filming right into like the last week of filming to just finish off that scene, because they could only do it like for about 2 hours every day, and they had to do it from this shot and that shot, and it took them fucking ages just to like pump the plastic in, and it's like fucking it was time, effort, labor, but it got done very well, and I feel like it stands up even today, right? Because like it's very hard to say that. Oh, okay. Let me say it like this: it stands up better than its fucking sequel. Jesus fucking God!
I haven't seen that, so I don't know.
I don't think it really counts, to be fair.
What was it? Was it American Werewolf in Paris?
Yeah, because
no, it was American Werewolf in Beirut.
American Werewolf in.
There was actually supposed to be a proper sequel called American Werewolf in Paris, but just not that one.
Well, to be fair, it was like 20 years after, wasn't
it? Was it that long? Wait,
something like that, because it came out in the late 90s.
97 it came out.
Oh,
yeah, so what's that, like 16 years?
But supposedly it was, from what I remember reading about it, it's like the ending, the sequel, the supposed sequel, starts off with Debbie, who is Jack's girlfriend that slept with someone else, was investigating the murder of the boys. She actually goes to the slaughtered lamb. Then she actually goes to Paris because Nurse Price moved over to Paris, and she was pregnant with the main character's baby. And
Do
I was
you
like,
imagine going through all this though and going like, oh, I just saw my boyfriend of less than 2 days get gunned down after becoming a werewolf, and I'm pregnant now in London, and I have to live very carefully because of inflation. I'm now going to move to Paris.
maybe they have a better version of the NHS there. I don't know.
I need a French guy to raise this werewolf.
There's
That's
also
really
another
going
one,
to
right?
fucking help.
There's another one called The
I need
First
him to be
Werewolf, right?
fucking racist and belligerent
What?
because he's French.
Rob, what were you saying? Rob, what were you saying?
I said there's a third one called The First Werewolf, right?
Is there?
Oh,
I
don't
think
know.
so. I might have made it up there. Let me have a look.
I didn't think any of these films were connected, really.
No, but like even in the American Werewolf in Paris, there is like a connection, very loosely, something about like that werewolf that attacked him in the moors that was like part of their werewolf group. It's so fucking loosely like connected. It doesn't matter. But like all I know is I remember watching a werewolf in Paris, American Werewolf in Paris, and I was like, huh, this is even shit to my very even when I was younger, I watched it, I was like, this is kind of shit. I don't know what this is. I mean, if this is this shit, the original one must be even worse.
It's just this werewolf trying to locate a bakery, and the French people won't tell him where it fucking is because they're French, and he's speaking English, so they go, "Fuck you! I don't want you to know where the bakery is, you prick."
I could take that you went to France and didn't have a good time, yeah?
Yeah, for fucking like 8 years in a row, I went to France and didn't have a good time because they're all French. Sorry, I'm getting a lot out.
Okay.
Yeah, The First Werewolf doesn't exist. I don't know where I got that from.
Okay. Oh, are you planning to make the film now?
But they're making a remake.
I'll put
Are
on a
they?
fucking fursuit
yeah.
and just fucking murder some people. I'm fine. Fucking
They approached Edgar Wright to direct it, but he turned it down.
that is a fair decision.
Yeah,
Oh, I'd love to
He
see an
can do
Edgar
it.
Wright fucking werewolf film. How good would that be? Shut up, you fucking.
But
Frenchie.
this is one of his favourite films, though, isn't it? Like he always says that this is like what he
yeah.
considers a perfect film.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but him not being able to get arrested is a kicker for me. I'm like, oh, you did not. The level to which you didn't try makes me think that you're all right with this.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, we didn't try to like.
Fucking punch the
Let's not see
copper,
that.
and then you get arrested, and then you're just in the cell. That's
Yeah,
all you
but
have to do.
I don't think it's unforgivable for him to have not thought to punch him.
If I'm in danger the next night of killing multiple people and sentencing other people to like being haunted by people they kill while they're on like a wolf fight rampage, I'd fucking punch a copper to just go like, hey, maybe this will mitigate the risk a bit. Like, I'm not happy doing this, but if it's the choice between this or that, I'll just punch the copper and get put in a cell, and then it's a bit safer.
Yeah, but I don't think that's like a universal fault. Like, I don't think every person would have that.
How would you? I mean, would you not get arrested? I'd try and get arrested.
In this
Again,
day and age,
I got arrested by accident once. Like, I feel like it takes very little effort to put yourself. Like, what would your alternative be if you're a werewolf? Like,
I mean,
I'd try and get some fucking steel between me and someone else.
Well, he did try, but it didn't work.
Oh, he didn't try that hard though. He said cunt, and he said that the Queen Elizabeth is a man. And I'm like, hit him, shit somewhere in public, like fucking drink in like go to a pub and just take it somewhere else.
Well,
and drink
maybe
in
it's
public.
just like the
Well,
police
like-
officers there were just more calm, you know.
Get fucking naked, like you already are doing. Steal
Oh,
balloons
yeah.
from a child while naked. That's surely like arrestable. Like do things. Go crazy. Do things to get arrested. If you really want to get arrested, you don't have to try this little. Like, come on, let's go.
That was an incredibly British thing that David did afterwards, right? He was standing there in that woman's red coat, and afterwards the guy was staring at him. He said one of the most British things anyone could properly say. He says, "Yes, this is some incredible weather we're having right now."
Well, you
And
should
I
have-
was- I just went, he gets the culture now. Yeah, he's in drag and he's talking about the weather. He understands British culture. Perfect.
Whereas if he was trying to get arrested, he'd have fucked the coat off and he'd just been walking around and go like, "Please arrest me. I have my chap out." He didn't want to be arrested.
Or it could be as you were saying, he could have tried way harder. It could have been much easier to get arrested.
Like, you haven't got to assault the guy. Try and steal his hat. Like, it's really fucking easy. Like, go for it.
But that's the way that is. It's just because
It is what it is.
that officer was like, even then that officer was like, "There's no need for that type of language." And like, that officer was not. He didn't care enough. He just didn't care.
Yeah, he didn't care from the start.
Like, the guy, like, the main character was like, "Yeah, that's what I want you to do, you moron." And I'm like, don't tell him that. If you want to get arrested that bad, don't tell him that you want him to arrest him. Like, what are you doing? Why are you trying not to get arrested in your attempt to get arrested? I see you shaking your head, Pat, but it matters.
Not to him.
It's one of those things that just like affects my understanding of the character, where I'm like, hey man, you clearly don't care that much.
I don't think it didn't really matter. And I think
If I had to protect people from myself, I'd put more effort into it.
I think in the 80s it was a very different world to where we are living now as well.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like,
I would shit everywhere and get arrested, but it's the 80s. I can't do that.
I mean, like, he could have tried multiple things. Maybe he could have went, "Actually, just let me hide in the phone box.
Shit,
Maybe I
find
can't
some
actually
hard
escape out of
drugs.
the thing." Say again?
Find some hard drugs. Do it in a phone box. Like, what?
I don't know, like, just like maybe he could like trap himself inside the phone box and he could, I don't know, it could have been fucking anything, right?
The amount of ways you can get arrested without hurting someone. Easy. Like, come on. Find a street with some trainers lobbed around the telephone pole, and you go, "Hey, there's drugs on this street."
I think ultimately, if that did happen, the film's ending would have been so mundane. It's like he just turns into a
Well,
Well,
not necessarily, because if
Well,
Ben,
if he
the
gets put
argument
into
is-
if he tries to get arrested, is put into a prison cell, and then breaks out of the prison cell, then he went through what he needed to do to try and secure himself as much as possible, and it didn't work.
my argument
You
was
don't have to change anything, really.
like, Ben, did you not think that the ending was kind of like short and mundane anyways?
Oh,
Because-
Oh yeah, it's very abrupt, certainly.
Because all like the tension when he was in the porno theater and like
Yeah.
he actually breaks through the barrier and fucking bites that inspector's neck open. Fucking
Yeah.
Just that was actually quite gruesome, right? But like all that climax, they could have there was I don't know, there's so many ways that it could have like built up, right? But it I feel like maybe it is even nowadays that people, when they see something happening, they don't like run away from the event. They actually crowd around the event, I guess, because it
Yeah.
seems so stupid. Because
That wasn't realistic.
you say that, Emmanuel, but like I feel like I've seen people do stupid shit and go, "Hey, what's going over there? Let's
Yeah.
walk over to see that stupid shit."
They
Not in-
crowd around it, that's true.
But usually what would happen is that the police doing this, obviously it looks dangerous. They would crowd, but it would be across the road, basically. There would be like a huge like crowd of people like going or stopping, being like, what's going on there? Blah, blah, blah. Not right up on the police officer when it obviously seems dangerous.
Yeah.
So the fact that they weren't just crowding, this is what made it, which I was like, am I meant to be taking this seriously? I can't, it's not. I'm meant to be thinking this is a joke, but it's not funny. They were rushing in. They were pushing in as if there was something behind them they were scared about. And that's like, if they did that, if there was something like, I don't know, let's say there was a fire from all the car crashes and stuff behind them, and they were stuck and they wanted to run into the cinema, that would be a bit better than them just trying to run in. It's like, where are you running to? It was like the one where it was in the alley. It's like, why are you running? Why are you running? Why are you not?
It's weird because I feel like the part you're describing is kind of like, that's the problem I have with it before, like the werewolf David breaks out of the cinema, the porno theater. Because that's the part where it's quite unrealistic. And it's kind of like, why is the crowd just like massing against the police like this for some reason? They can't even see what's going on and know what's going on. And then when he comes out, when the wolf comes out, then it's chaos. And then it's realistic. And then it's kind of like, yes, people will be going insane. And it's everything would be going to hell. People would be run over. Cars would be crowding into each other. That's when it works. It's just the preamble before it and a bit afterwards as well. It's kind of like, oh, that doesn't quite gel. It's just it's a bit of a strange lapse in judgment in that regard. So I think that's right.
I agree with everything. Sorry, I was cutting you off there. My hair's still a bit funny. What was I gonna say? I agree with everything except the car crash. There was it again. I thought it wasn't meant to be serious. Like the beginning of the car crash is realistic, and then they just kept getting cars speeding into the car crash, which is like, this
Have
is
you not been to Piccadilly Circus? That's normal.
not as long as it did. Like half the length of time, not constant. I'm just like,
The amount of people who don't give a fuck about their own lives in Piccadilly Circus. Yeah, I believe that.
I think as soon if they saw the werewolf, then fair enough. If they didn't, then what's the hell's going on? Because if you're just reacting to like other cars just driving off the road, then what are you doing? Just slow down. But if you saw the wolf, you'd be like, okay, fair.
Well, they'd go like, "Hey, I need to get to Brixton, like in right now. Like, I can't be dealing with this fucking cosmic horror wolf. Like, fuck off. Like, what? That's fucking Lewisham's problem. I don't know."
Fuck that wolf.
But like, even stuff like, is this fucking English community, and they go, "We've got a werewolf," and they go, "How do we deal with it?" And they've gone like, denial, and let's just drink a lot, and if anyone comes asking about it, we'll just pretend it's not happening. And I'm like, God, that's so fucking British. I can't even.
I was gonna say, right?
Should we deal with it? No, let's just fucking pretend it's not happening.
I feel like it could have been like, because the werewolves in these movies were so easily killed. Let's be honest, right? There's no silver bullets. There's no like.
Yeah, they're just.
You just bang, bang, fucking dead, right? I feel like they didn't want to do it for the first werewolf because it's like, oh no, it's that time of month again. Yep, George is gonna change. Guess we'll just sit in the pub first, right? And like hope it'll blow over in a couple of days, because like it's George. He can play darts or some shit, right? And like it's like, all right, fine. We'll just leave it. Just it's in God's hands now. And it's like
God's
yeah,
soul.
yeah. But it's like make sure that just like we'll blow over. George will come back and he'll treat us to a round. Yeah. That's how I felt in like the first video thing. They didn't want to kill the first werewolf because they knew who the werewolf was. Is probably what it was.
Yeah, I think that's likely.
But let's see.
Us. I know we already pretty much said it, but just in case, like not just in case. Again, when it was crowding around the police werewolf, like when it was actually seen, that made sense. But it didn't make sense that they were all trying to push past them to get to a thing which apparently just killed or was just doing a bunch of crazy stuff.
Yeah,
that's not human behavior. Like it's human to crowd and I want to know what's going on, but why are they pushing to go past? Like that only happens when there's something behind them they're trying to run from.
Yeah, that's fair. That's the thing. The film has a lot of little bits, tiny little issues like that. That's kind of stop it from being perfect for me, because it's kind of I don't think people would react that way, or logically that would happen. But I can see why that wasn't really the actual main attention or focus of the film. But yeah, if you hold it up by today's standards, it kind of looks a bit more like doesn't quite work.
Yeah. Awesome. A random one. The incompetent cop investigator guy.
Which one?
Oh, him.
You mean the one that looks like a young Stephen Fry?
Young Stephen Fry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it kind of
I'm
seems like
with
a
you.
very young Stephen Fry, yeah?
Fair enough. I get what they was trying to do with him, like in terms of like I don't know, comic relief, like laugh and stuff. But again, maybe it's because the humor just didn't fall right for me. But I wish it was a different type of kind of comedy or humor they tried to do with him, or a bit more witty or a bit something else, because it just became annoying. It's like, dude, can you just not be here? This is like you're a waste of space. Just seriously.
I do kind of agree with that, to be honest. Like just the little things of like, oh, can I give you a cup of tea? Oh no, yeah, yes, please.
It's quite.
I mean, no, thank you. Maybe later. Turns around and knocks everything over, and it's like, can you fucking go on with it? Like, sorry.
Yeah. It like the idea was good in the start, but then the delivery, I was like, this is just a bit too dry for this particular type of humor.
I think, yeah, haven't you can have one, just not both. Like have him knock something over, or have him go, yes, please, tea would be lovely. Oh, no, thanks. Maybe later.
Yeah, because you can make him do the whole kind of clumsy Mr. Bean thing, which can work really great, or you can make him like do lots of stuff. But yeah, like you said,
one but not both.
Okay, yeah, because if he did the knocking over of the like medical equipment and like I just picked that up. Sorry, then it could have been fine. Or if it would I see what you guys one but not both. I mean, admittedly, that character was probably like celebrating afterwards, because when the inspector died, he goes, "Yes, I get a promotion now." No, okay, thanks. What? Okay, sorry.
Sorry, I live in a bad area.
So, are we gonna finally talk about the actual scene of him transforming and him listening to Blue Moon in full blast that was playing into his head?
I think Pat would rather we didn't refer to it. in
I
that
mean,
way.
we
Oh,
can
well,
talk
actually,
about the
okay.
scene itself without the music.
Maybe he also was a person who hated Manchester United, and that's why he was like, "Oh, my head! Oh!" Ah. That's probably why he was so upset about it.
I'm leaving.
I think what you meant to say, Simon, was Man City, not Man
Yeah.
United.
Like
I'm
they're both.
sorry.
It's like
I
Republic of
don't,
Ireland versus
I don't watch
Northern
football, man. I don't care.
Take me home, United Road,
Stop butchering it with your terrible singing.
to the place. Are United,
West United.
West United,
Man
Mountain
City.
United,
You fucking.
make me United, United. I think that's how it goes. Sorry.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Blue Moon.
If he was
But
a
yeah.
Man City supporter, that would have been a lot better for Pat, I think. Just thinking like, this is what you get.
But immediately, that song was playing at like full blast into his brain directly. That's why he was like, "Oh, no!" I mean, like it's like having your like headphones on, like full blast of music. It's like, "Oh, really got into his head." That's probably why he. That's why he was like struggling.
Oh, yeah.
United, United,
Okay,
United,
we just upset Pat now again.
United.
Again, I realized Mickey Mouse was in this again.
There was a few Disney references, wasn't there? Yeah. It was
Yeah,
Mickey
right,
and
right.
Donald. Donald was there as well.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse.
United.
Shut up, Alex. Up.
Mickey Mouse is literally everywhere. He is always watching us.
Yeah.
It's terrifying
Yes.
how much he's referenced in a lot of media.
Mm.
Mr. Mouse is always watching us.
Yeah, she was a fucking Disnoid. She'd be watching all these Marvel shows and going like, "That's amazing." Just like, shut up. But then again, she's an MCU actress, so I guess he got into her early.
Well, what has she been in since?
Well, she's been in the Avengers and Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Oh,
She's
right.
the lady Black Widow pretends to be,
Oh.
and then she does kung
Oh.
fu. In
I
her
forgot
body.
about that. Damn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's been around for a while, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's yeah. The expiration date's coming up. Should probably throw her out soon, but
She's getting on.
So,
Yeah, Blue Moon.
I love
Good.
just little silences and just seeing Humphrey go.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh, shit.
Are you
Oh
talking
no,
about?
I really do like it.
Are you talking about the nurse?
Yeah.
She's in Call the Midwife as well. If you've
Yeah.
ever watched Call the Midwife.
No, you should pick it. I think Pat would like.
No, it's a TV series
Oh,
about midwives. Funny enough,
thank you.
that's how I recognised. I was like, "Oh, she's from that." And then when you get on there, I'm like, "Oh God, I feel like
so,
betrayed
so
someone."
we're gonna talk about. Shall we move on to favorite scenes because everyone just like, or shall we just like?
Yeah, we do favorite scenes.
I'm into your favorite scenes.
My favourite scene is the bit where they're in the cinema because it's so absurd that they're talking about him committing suicide. I'm just like, what the fuck?
I just liked it because it was my favorite porn.
It's a scene within the scene. That's why it's clever.
Oh my god! But like when the couple are talking, they're like, and she's really nice, and they're like, so yeah, you should do this.
Yeah,
It's
she's
really
just like
good.
a normal self, isn't she?
Yeah, it's just like, what the fuck? Yep, that's my favorite scene.
Mine's the underground. I was getting annoyed at the amount of times we were doing. What's that over there? It's coming over the hill. It looks really big.
And he
Wolf
did
face.
see it, yeah.
And like the more it happened, I think it just happened like one too many times, and I was like, it was very clear you were trying to fucking like just pad out this budget a bit. But like the underground scene, I was like, oh, we're actually seeing the werewolf a bit, like around the under. Okay, this is helping me out. A little bit.
What?
What I fucking say this time?
I don't know. Yeah, the underground scene is one of my favorite scenes as well. Well, there's so many moments in it, but I think
There's not even anything happening on the fucking channel. Why is he telling me to fuck off?
It's because I keep changing his name.
Ah,
Oh,
you've got Edmund,
You-
right? Of course.
but
Yeah, but yeah, the underground scene's excellent.
so
Oh,
you made it, you bastard.
Oh, man.
Oh, right.
That's the end of
Fucking
that.
hell.
I would have thought Blue Moon would have done him in, but
Oh,
Oh,
Blue Moon, Resident Wolfman.
Blue
They-
Moon? Blue Moon.
The favorite scene is the one I dislike the most.
right. I feel
What
like you've
scene?
misunderstood the question.
What is the?
What is
No,
it?
we want the scene you like the most, not the what.
I was just making a comment. It's
Your
just-
comment was your favorite scene was the one I hated.
yeah,
What?
I'm not
Yeah.
answering the
You
question.
love to hate it.
What
just-
was the scene?
Oh, the one in the porn cinema.
Oh, it is.
It was off-putting. Like every time they joked about him taking his life, I was like, I get at the time it was different, so I say comment on in that way, but that's horrible. That's not a funny joke. And like it's different if like the first time he said it, it wasn't led by enough. Like he's just seeing his dead friend who doesn't know who's alive and thinks it's just himself saying take his life. He thinks he's going crazy and that he's just in grief because of what's just happened. And then he's in the porn theater. And it's like, could you have timed it any worse? Like,
Yeah, what we do is kind of like, come in the porn fit. This is the place you need to be. It's kind
To
of
be fair, if you're gonna target your mate who you want to commit suicide, post wank is your best chance. That's when
Well,
he's at
it's-
his most guilty.
it's like not no, because it's such a sensitive subject. And I'm just like, the rest of the scene could have worked, but that just made it kind of
Oh fucking hell!
worse.
Whoa. Rob,
what the hell's Rob done?
You fucking creepy bastard! You look like Dr. Robotnik.
It's not you, man. It was Rob.
I know.
freaked me out for a second, actually, yeah. Right?
No, he looks like a bug. Try it again.
It's that Blue Moon.
In any case, yeah, Emmanuel, I get
Sorry,
what you're
Emmanuel.
trying to say. They
My
were
bad.
making fun of like suicide, like, and they were suggesting, oh, maybe just like hang yourself or drown yourself, or just quick, shoot yourself in the head. Oh yeah, make sure you stick it in your mouth so you don't miss. And I was like, yeah, that was a bit. It was much. It was a bit too much, admittedly.
Yeah, for some, I get why that would be like really quite really
And-
cringy, but
I think it would have been better if it was like, just say for example, let's say he was already thinking about it. He was in a park. He was really guilty of what he did. I don't know. Maybe he saw them. He had proof that he was the one who did all these things as well. And he's just like, oh, this has happened. This has happened. I don't know what I'm going to do. And then his friend was just like, you just have to. And they try and make it comedic, like he's falling over himself. He's almost dying multiple times, but he won't die. And then he actually tries, but then it gets thwarted by something else. Like, even though it's not funny, it could have been done better, I thought. But it was the way they did it in the situation. I was just like, even though I wouldn't have liked it still another way, I felt it could have been done better. I was like, this is a bit weird. Like, you could have put this, he could have had him, I don't know, he could have put this in a different situation if he wanted to really throw that film in there randomly. I don't know. Just sex porno scenes in there, fine. It wouldn't be funny and just random. But yeah, it was just weird timing, I found.
Fair enough.
So
Yeah, I
I'm
understand.
okay having it delivered through these characters where it's like these are British fucking snobs and they're kind of idiots and they're like, yeah, just put a gun in your mouth and stuff. Like, I don't know. I feel like in like a similar situation, if I was like, you know, if one of you had killed me by being a werewolf, I'd be like, hey man, in these circumstances, yeah, I know you're gonna be guilty about this. I don't want you to fucking kill people.
And yeah,
But
obviously, don't
it's
forget
it's
they were
gonna
killed by him.
happen.
They were all killed by him, so they're kind of like we're taking glee in how he would off himself, weren't they?
Yeah, like I wouldn't be that happy. I wouldn't be happy about that. But Jack's not happy about that either.
Well-
He's like, hey, this is my friend. Like,
I feel like
chill
there were
out.
the three people that were actually like actively talking about how he should kill himself were the three like homeless dudes. They were
Yeah.
upset with him and they're like, I would wish you a good day, but seeing how I am now, I don't think so. They turned back to watch the porno, and I was like, all right, because they're upset with him. They're like most upset with him, but they weren't like goading him into kill himself.
Yeah,
right?
they just were like, just do it. I don't care, whatever.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. So it's like, yeah, maybe a bit much, I guess. I just saw the message there. Okay, I guess I'll go for my favorite scene next then. Favorite scenes, there were like two scenes that kind of like stood out for me, right? It was definitely the double nightmare scene, because that was like, again, I never realized how much of a trope that was until I saw that scene. But my favorite scene was not because of the scene itself, but what the scene eventually became. Because when he had the first like running through the forest thing, and he caught a deer, that was cool. That was weird, but I was like, cool. I got it. When he did the second scene, where he had the yellow eye makeup thing, I was like, huh, why did that remind me of Thriller so much? Then afterwards, obviously, I checked. I was like, oh, right, fucking duh, because they made Thriller after this. Essentially with like, where he transforms into the werewolf scene with the ears growing and like the snarl coming out of his mouth. And it was like, they used the exact, because it's the same dude doing the same makeup and all that stuff, and it's actually what is happening. I was like, oh, that's really like amazing, because Michael Jackson saw this movie and went, I want that guy, I want that artist, I want him to do my makeup for this, my like music video. That's what I want. And it's like, that's it's like, I can see why, because Thriller is a good music video, right? It's like 50 minutes of all that like well-made dance choreography and all that makeup. So you go, yeah, that's definitely like a favorite scene of mine, because of what it led up to. The scene itself was good. What it made afterwards, fucking amazing. All right. What do we do? Hey Pat, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
He's empty.
Yes. What was your favorite scene, Pat?
Probably the transformation.
Good choice.
I like the use of effects at that point. It sort of just reinforces the idea, like in a horror film, you don't need CGI, you just need properly well done effects, and I think this film did it well.
Yeah, very much.
Cool. Why has everyone left since I've gone?
No, what?
No, it's,
No,
they
no.
didn't really say.
Dan's still there, I think.
And
Daniel!
Ali can rob a god.
Of what? Of what?
Dan is there, yes.
Dan is there. Daniel, what is your favorite scene? Yes,
I
you.
told you what my favourite scene was.
Oh, yeah, we did do your one, didn't
It
we?
was the first one.
It was mainly because you turned around. I had to see what you were doing.
I'm looking for something.
All right.
He's looking for a fuck to give.
Okay. So, did any of you?
Huh?
Oh no. Go first. You go first. You go first.
I think mine is from the part where they first saw the slaughtered lamb, to the part where they asked like about like the candle stuff. I thought that was pretty realistic, pretty good, pretty well done, to be honest. Yeah, like
They got the pentagram wrong.
what?
They got the pentagram wrong. It's meant to be upside down and have a circle around it.
True, but they were probably primitive and trying to think about, oh, how do we get rid of the right werewolf? Quick, do a star with 5 points. That would do it.
I mean, I'm not even going to comment on that. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. That just adds to it. Like they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
Just makes it even better. Ironically, today I was also in Assassin's Creed. Used the proper pentagram, evil warding off symbol, and like as part of like one of the old Celtic beliefs in Mary Lud and the kind of origins of Halloween and all sorts of stuff, which is really cool. I mean, Pat, you did play through the game, didn't you?
I'm 2 games behind, but I've seen enough of it.
Okay, sorry. When I posted,
That's all right.
I was like, oh, he knows. But yeah, you get to see a Wicker Man.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it is nice. It's like they ask you to set a flame, but the whole practice is crazy, man. Anyway, yeah, eventually I will watch the original film after seeing that, I think.
I wouldn't bother.
Oh,
The original was much better. Don't worry, I know.
I was going to ask Emmanuel about that scene. Is that the movie they referenced? Remembering the Alamo.
Oh, yeah, the Alamo.
Has anyone actually watched that film?
I think I've seen it ages ago with John Wayne. It's one of the John Wayne's like iconic movies.
Because it was just funny because I had to check about it, right? Because they're saying, oh yeah, it was a shit movie. It's old and cheesy and crap. Then I checked and it's like, it can't be. It's not that bad. It's got like 52% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's not like the worst score. It could be way worse.
Western. Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes ain't the best barometer for a film, though.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, they were complaining about how shit the movie was. I had to check. 52% is not too bad. It could be worse. It could be way worse, to be honest.
It's just because it was an American Western with the most American guy playing the lead actor in it. That's the reason, I think, more than anything else.
yeah, I haven't seen the film, but a lot of those, any kind of Western film about Native American and stuff, just like yeah, I don't like it. Always be obviously the history. But I was like, and the joke he had made, like Alex said, yeah, put the racist joke in. I was just like, it's not funny. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, but that's the way that like films and film productions are sometimes. It's just like, it's a very old made movie, you know, so just the way. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Am I being incorrect and misremembering that the name of the film productions for this film is called lycanthrope films, right?
Lycanthropy forms, yeah.
Yeah, but
100%.
it doesn't lycanthropy mean werewolf anyways?
Yes,
Okay, so it's werewolf film productions.
it was done deliberately. No other film has that company on it.
That's so. I looked at it and I was like, I had to go back and like double check. It's like, oh yeah, it does say lycanthropy. Why would it say lycanthropy? Because it's such a odd thing to like put into like a beginning of the movie. It's just like, I don't know. It's like if they did a vampire film and they call it, yes, Nosferatu Productions, and I was like,
It was on the nose.
yeah, it's on the nose because it just began. Maybe if people didn't know what it meant, and there's like, it would be one thing, right? But like, we knew we were watching a film about werewolves already. You didn't need to say it a werewolf film. It's like,
Yeah, I think at that time many people didn't know what lycanthropy was, so it was very very subtle hint of what the film's about. And it's like, oh well, that's so cool, shit.
okay.
Oh,
I feel like everyone is slowing down.
yeah.
Any final thoughts?
It was good.
It's good.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, no, it was good. It's like it. There were certain parts that were a bit cheesy on the comedy, right? Because of again, this is horror comedy film, and actually there was one. This is like a little tidbit before we go into actual ending thoughts. You know when they were like on the road, that they took him to the road, and they were with the sheep, and they were let off on the sign, right? I swear to God that one of the signs said Ed Wood.
Oh,
I thought that as well.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think
and
it was, yeah.
Yeah, it's maybe mainly because of Film Club. I was like, huh, Ed Wood is the name I keep hearing. And I was like, all right, it's my Ben's picks for film because it's about the film director. I haven't watched that chat. I'll watch that chat next, actually. So this is me reminding myself to watch that chat afterwards. But it's like, all right, I keep saying, who's Ed Wood? What have they done? All right, the film director. Okay, I'll check that out later. But like ending thoughts is, yeah, it's good. It was funny. Could have been funnier or less funny, I guess.
Yeah, depending on who you ask, I think it either could be a more serious movie or a more funny movie. But
I didn't think it was that serious of a film.
so it could have been more funny in a way.
If they added a few more actual like dark comedy jokes, then it would have probably been better to me. But again, if they did that, they wouldn't get like they got like a better age rating. I don't know, maybe. Oh, but there was one other thing. There's one other joke I remember writing. It's like when David was back in the house, he predicted the early 2020 quarantine life of us being stuck at home with nothing to do.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he just walking around. I'm not hungry though. Goes around, try to watch some TV, read a book, go back to the fridge and go, I'm still not hungry. And it's like, yeah, that was early 2020 quarantine life that. And I think that's it. I think everyone is either asleep or just turn around.
Yeah, or almost asleep.
Okay. So Pat, you're first for next, right?
Yeah.
What is your film? What is your film? What is
Well,
your film, Pat?
recently you were like, oh, I'm surprised there's been no John Carpenter film. Well, I'm picking Halloween this week.
Yay! Wait, which? All right. Oh,
The John Carpenter one.
Yeah, John Carpenter.
The
Right,
original
yeah.
OG.
I was about to say,
Carpenter.
oh my god, you're not fucking picking fucking like
Halloween Ends.
ends. Oh, I heard terrible
Zombie
things
one.
about it.
I mean, I don't expect too much from horror sequels. Like they rebooted it with the one in 2017, which was pretty good. But I watched the one that came out last year. I enjoyed it, but it was shit. And I expect the same for this one, especially since there's hardly any Michael Myers in it, apparently.
Mm,
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it doesn't sound like.
Hands.
Well, it won't, because it'll make money. I'll be responsible for a fiver of it.
Oh yeah, for the film, for the werewolf film. It was nice to find out like more facts about it, or kind of things it had impact on, because I forgot to check, to be frankly honest. I think it's partly because of my experience and how I feel, but it was nice to find out. So yeah, I did put my scores up on different things because of that. I still wouldn't want to watch them, but it's interesting. I've seen a piece of film history. I can take it off my list.
I'm glad that you picked it then, because like I've always heard about American Werewolf in London. I just never really, it was like on my list to watch your films. It's like I'll watch it eventually. I don't know when I'll get to it, but I'll watch it eventually. There's actually one. It's actually one of the films that were on my notes of like many films here. So I was like, oh, I'll take it off eventually. I'll take it off now.
I'm glad to wait because I was originally going to pick it last year and you'd probably missed it. So it
Ah.
worked out well.
That's good. That's good. That's good. All right. Think.
Oh, blimey.
Okay. I think
There's a werewolf
it's
in the
best.
chat.
Yeah, I think it's best that we end there. So
Yeah, the trouble
Alright.
is no one's. I think we all have to leave the group for it to.
Where's
stop
Rob
recording.
gone?
The toilet? I don't know.
Either way, it should be fine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, all right. Speak to you guys
Speak to you next
soonish,
week.
and
Yeah, see you
Night.
later.
Halloween will
night,
return.
Alec.
Oh, wait.
Night.
Good night, motherfuckers. Good night. You right, Emmanuel?
Next film. What's the next?
Oh, if you didn't hear, Pat's next film is Halloween, the original John Carpenter version from this, I think 81. I can't remember that. He'll link the post in the group.
Oh, is that the one with Mike Myers?
Yes.
Yeah, the original one.
Yeah, the first one that started it all.
That was actually pretty good. I've seen it recently, so you have to forgive not rewatching it because it's quite fresh in my mind.
Perfect.
It's perfect because it's
School was quick.
for Halloween. You know, it's the perfect Halloween choice movie.
I did wish that they made a proper prequel. I think they tried to do something like that.
They did try in some of the sequels, but they didn't do it very well.
Yeah, because it sounded messed up. Like it's one of those films that it's on a level, like the back potential of like mixing, I don't know, something like Us together with not Carrie, Chucky.
Jeffy.
Okay.
It's like it had some like really good, nah, this is messed up, but also like didn't start out like that. It's I guess a normal-ish family kind of thing. Anyway,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
We should end the chat
We'll
there.
continue in 1 week.
Alright.
Have a good night, guys.
bye.
Good night.
Dan, turn around and turn off your chat.
That's done.
Oh.